rise for a flag salute and a moment of silence for our men and women serving in our military and the families lost to COVID.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Notice requirements of the Open Public Meeting Law have been satisfied concerning this meeting. The Home News Tribune and the Star Ledger published a notice on December 18, 2020. A copy of the schedule was posted on the municipal bulletin board. It should be so noted in the minutes of this meeting. Councilman Spiller.
Here.
Councilman Ficarra.
Here.
Councilwoman Meehan.
Here.
Councilwoman Drum.
Here.
Councilman Patel. Councilman Anderson.
Here.
Councilwoman De Jesus.
Here.
Vice President Bauer.
Here.
And President Small.
Here.
Can I get a motion to approve the minutes from January 5th, 2021?
Motion. Second.
Any questions or comments from council? All in favor, aye?
Aye.
Opposed? Ayes have it. We're beginning with second reading ordinances this evening, starting with letter A, which is on your agenda. This is an ordinance authorizing the Township of Woodbridge to enter into a lease agreement with MCRT Northeast Construction with regarding to a rooftop project here at the municipal building. With that said, can I get a motion that this ordinance be taken up on second and third reading and the public hearing be opened?
Motion. Second.
Any questions or comments from council? All in favor, aye?
Aye.
Opposed? Ayes have it. The public hearing is now open on letter A only. Hearing no comment from the public, can I get a motion that the public hearing be closed, the ordinance be adopted and submitted to the mayor for approval as required by law?
Motion. Second.
Any questions or comments from council? All in favor, aye?
Aye.
Opposed? Ayes have it. Letter B is an ordinance amending Chapter 150 Land Use and Development Stormwater Control for the Township of Woodbridge. Can I get a motion that this ordinance be taken up on second and third reading and the public hearing be opened?
Motion. Second.
Any questions or comments from council? All in favor, aye?
Aye.
Opposed? Ayes have it. The public hearing is now open on letter B only. Hearing no comment from the public, can I get a motion that the public hearing be closed, the ordinance be continued until our next meeting?
Motion. Second.
Any questions or comments from council? All in favor, aye?
Aye.
Opposed? Ayes have it. We will take ordinances listed under first readings from C through G. Can I get a motion that these ordinances be passed on first reading, published in the Home News Tribune on January 22nd, 2021, with notice of public hearing to be held on February 2nd, 2021 at 6 p.m.
Motion. Second.
Any questions or comments from council?
Mr. Mitch, I'd like to add C to my agenda for senior services and merge that in with the Evergreen Center.
Any other comments? All in favor, aye?
Aye.
Opposed? Ayes have it. And finally, Council President, you have resolutions listed 1 through 23. Can I get a motion that 1 through 23 be passed by consent?
Motion. Second.
Any questions or comments from council? All in favor, aye?
Aye.
Opposed? Ayes have it. Mr. President.
Thank you, Mr. Mitch. At this time, we'll go to public session. Please state your name and part of town you live. You have a 5-minute, one-time period to speak.
Good evening. James Dabrowski, Woodbridge proper. Yesterday, like many Woodbridge residents, I tuned into The Dream Continues, a virtual remembrance of Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. I'd like to share a few words from the powerful sermon delivered by Reverend Neva Lawson of the First Baptist Church of Woodbridge. In 1967, 1 year before the Reverend Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. was assassinated, he had just finished writing a book, and the title of that book seems to have been prophetically written for times like today. And the title of that book is, Where Do We Go From Here? Chaos or Community? The premise of that book is captured in his quote, "We are caught in an inescapable network of mutuality, tied in a single garment of destiny. Whatever affects one directly affects all indirectly." And is that not how all of us felt on Wednesday, January the 6th, as hate-filled terrorists attacked the Capitol building of the United States of America, the cradle of our democracy, in an effort to prevent the certification of votes by the citizens of this country? Just watching on TV was so disturbing and so troubling to all of us as we saw this display of vicious, violent, crazed hatred that was all inspired by lies and propaganda. Seeing something like this may have been new to many of you, but I'm here to tell you that to many minorities, we have seen this all too many times, even in our own individual lives. You see, beloveds, this hatred is unrestrained and it has no boundaries. That same spirit of hatred and division is still very active in this country today. The writer James Baldwin stated, "Not everything that is faced can be changed, but nothing can be changed until it is faced." So today, let's call it what it is: white supremacy, Nazism, anti-Semitism, white nationalism, the alt-right movement. There are so many people of goodwill, but there's a hardcore group that is threatening to divide this country with the same spirit from 1861, the beginning of the American Civil War. And it broke my heart to see in the halls of Congress someone waving a Confederate flag. And did you notice these were not Islamic jihadists? These were not immigrants flowing over the border from Mexico. These were not North Koreans. They were not from Iran. And this is not fake news. They were Americans, your fellow citizens, some in your family, your coworkers, or your neighbors, who somehow have been radicalized, blinded by a false philosophy of hatred and fear, and the belief that we are not created equal, which goes against the Declaration of Independence, one of the founding principles of this nation. For we hold these truths to be self-evident, that all men are created equal, that they are endowed by their Creator with certain unalienable rights, that among these are life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. And so now, since a light has been shined on the beast, what are we going to do about it? Please understand, Council. This is precisely why we've been emailing and calling and protesting and coming here and speaking so passionately for all this time now. What are we going to do about it, Woodbridge? Just keep turning a blind eye to our appalling racism and continue to baselessly insist that we're the best town around? No, we have to do better so that Woodbridge actually has a chance to become the best town around for all who call it home, regardless of race, religion, ability, sexual orientation, gender identity, socioeconomic status, immigration status, everyone. We have to work towards Dr. King's goal of creating a beloved community where liberty and justice for all actually exists for all. In the words of author/activist Ijeoma Oluo, the beauty of anti-racism is that you don't have to pretend to be free of racism to be an anti-racist. Anti-racism is the commitment to fight racism wherever you find it, including in yourself. And it's the only way forward. It's long overdue that Woodbridge finally begins to commit to anti-racism, and that we put concrete policies in place to ensure our commitment is more than just promises and platitudes. Yes, this will anger the already enraged beast of white supremacy mentioned by Reverend Lawson, and yikes, you might even lose some votes. But we can't let fear stop us from doing what is right. In February of 1968, just 2 months before he was murdered by white supremacy, Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. said, "Ultimately, a genuine leader is not a searcher of consensus, but a molder of consensus. Cowardice asks the question, is it safe? Expediency asks the question, is it politic? Vanity asks the question, is it popular? But conscience asks the question, is it right?" And there comes a time when one must take a position that is neither safe, nor politic, nor popular, but they must take it because conscience tells them it is right. Let us not forget that Dr. King himself had a 63% negative approval rating in the last poll taken before his murder. Let us not also forget that even dedicating a national holiday to Dr. King was met with great opposition, but people of conscience stood up and did what's right. Council President Small, please, will you stand up and do what's right? To truly honor the brilliant life and legacy of Dr. King, will you agree to meet with our amazing Woodbridge Youth for Liberation and Equity to help Woodbridge finally begin to commit to anti-racism?
Mr. Dombrowski, if they reach out to me, I will meet with them, yes.
You'll meet with them, yes or no?
Yes.
Thank you, Council President. I appreciate that. And I know you didn't like the demands wording, but freedom is never voluntarily given by the oppressor. It must be demanded by the oppressed. That's an MLK quote as well. So, thank you for your time.
Thank you. Are there any other comments this evening from the public?
Victoria Birch, Colonia. I don't really have anything prepared or what I feel is of import. After all of the months being here, after all of the conversations, after the election, after the murmurs after the election, and after Wednesday, January 6th, I am heartbroken and a bit numb. I assume some of you might feel the same. I guess I'll say why I don't stand for the Pledge of Allegiance. Every day, every meeting, you offer the opportunity for us to stand for the Pledge of Allegiance and to give a moment of silence with everything else that it takes from a person to be able to commit themselves to this kind of advocacy. You can tend to lose sight of why you're actually doing it and what's really important and what's really at stake. And for white people like me who are trying to get into this work and do a bit better, we literally don't have skin in the game. So focusing ourselves and making sure that we're doing this for all of the right reasons is extremely important. So if you see me when we take the time to say the Pledge of Allegiance, I don't say the Pledge of Allegiance. It is very hard for me at this time to be a proud American and be a patriot. But then I think of all the people who have walked on this land before us and who fought for my ability to engage in this policy and these policies. And I just give myself that moment to re-cement my efforts. I don't necessarily have anything to invite you into conversation with on that, but think about why you're doing this. I think that's some of the first line of questioning that I came here with in June. Think about why you're here. Think about who you serve and the communities that you represent. What books are you reading about how influential your work can be? What podcasts are you listening to? What movies do you watch? What conversations are you having with your kids? How do you vote? This is much bigger than all of us, but it's also just as small as we are. Every vote and decision that we get to make and have the privilege and honor of making can and does affect those around us. So exercise that power with care. Black Lives Matter. Thank you.
Any other comments this evening? Here are none. Can I get a motion that the public comment portion of this meeting be closed?
Motion.
Got a second?
Oh, second.
All in favor, aye?
Aye.
Opposed? Ayes have it.
New in this position, I'm sorry.
Thank you, Mr. Mitch. On my agenda, number 8, the STEL, which is our senior transportation. I urge our senior citizens in town to take advantage of this great program. We've expanded it so much because of how many people have signed up for it, and any senior can attest to this. So if you'd like to register for STEL, senior transport, the number is 732-726-2394. And again, it's a great program. That's all I have on our agenda. A couple announcements. First and foremost, I want to thank the health department for all of what they've been through since March of last year, but now distributing the COVID vaccine shots. I know, Mr. Carey, you have that on your agenda, so I don't want to go too much into it, but I just want to thank Mr. Green and all the staff down there. You've done a tremendous job. To TV 35, you clearly don't get the credit you deserve. The stuff that you've been able to put together, including yesterday's event with Dr. Martin Luther King Jr., was amazing. So to TV 35, thank you from myself and the rest of the council. To our emergency services, our police, our fire, our EMS, thank you so much. Our Public Works Department, thank you so much. And to all the essential workers out there, thank you for all you do. God bless America. Vice President Bauer.
Thank you, Council President. My agenda's in order. I just have one announcement. With development of vacant distressed properties on New Brunswick Avenue in Hopelawn, one super fresh grocery store, a warehouse, self-storage facility,
in Quincy Apartments, a traffic light control project and crosswalks will be installed at the corner of New Brunswick Avenue and Pennsylvania Avenue with the assistance of Middlesex County later this year. I will update you once I get an installation start date for the project. That's all I have. Thank you, Council President.
Thank you. Councilwoman De Jesus.
Thank you, Council President. My agenda is in order. I just have one announcement. The main library is open for browsing, borrowing, computer, and Wi-Fi use Monday through Thursday, 10 a.m. through 8 p.m., and Fridays, 10 a.m. through 6 p.m. The Fords, Henry Inman, and Island branches are not open for in-person visits, but they offer curbside pickup on Tuesdays and Fridays. On Fridays, they have the grab and go activities as well as books, videos, and computer printouts. Visit the library website for updates, www.woodbridgelibrary.org, or call 732-634-4450. That's all that I have. Thank you.
Thank you. Councilman Spiller.
Thank you, Council President Small. Item number 2, Eric LeGrand Believe Park. It's not so much about the park itself, but you'll be able to enjoy the park while drinking a nice cup of coffee, LeGrand Coffee. Eric and his team have opened up their own coffee business called LeGrand Coffee House. Eric is scheduled to open his coffee house late summer this year, but you don't have to wait until then to enjoy the great coffee. You can visit www.legrandcoffeehouse.com for all his products and supplies. Okay. With that, the rest of my agenda is in order. Just an announcement, Woodbridge Township Youth Soccer Association is registering now for their spring league. You can sign your child up at www.woodbridgeyouthsoccer.com. Thank you to all our emergency responders, fire, EMS, or Woodbridge Police Department, OEM, and CERT for all their tireless work. Be safe, be smart. God bless America. Thank you, Council President.
Thank you. Councilwoman Meehan.
Thank you, Council President. My agenda is in order. I'd just like to take a moment tonight to remember Kevin Reinhardt. 9 years ago today, January 19th, 2021, was a dark and sad day in Colonia and of all Woodbridge Township when we heard the news that Marine Corporal Kevin J. Reinhardt, 25 years old of Colonia, died alongside 5 of his fellow Marines while serving their country during Operation Enduring Freedom. The Marines were assigned to Marine Heavy Helicopter Squadron 363 in Afghanistan when their helicopter that they were riding in crashed. Please keep the Reinhardt family and all the families of the other Marines that were lost that day in your prayers. Sorry, emotional. Along with our troops serving overseas and protecting our capital this evening, please protect all those officers that are there too, and let there be peace through the next few days with all these difficult days. And thank you, Kevin, for serving our country. That's all I have.
Thank you. Councilwoman Drum.
Thank you, Council President. Number 13, Woodbridge Elks had a recent successful food drive for We Feed Woodbridge. Thank you to all of the volunteers who came out to help and to everyone who donated. The food collection that they had that day was horrendous. Number 17, Acacia Center on Fort Reading Avenue Youth Center. Outside basketball courts are completed. Every time I ride by, it's filled with our youth playing there. So I want to thank our administration and our council for providing our youth this outside recreational site. More details will follow on the status of the other amenities that will be available there. Number 19, the Seawarren Marina. Our township administration is finalizing the plans on the newly acquired land to enhance the township's marina complex on Cliff Road. And a redevelopment update in Ward 1. Redevelopment of downtown Woodbridge is in full swing with help from the mild winter so far. 10 Green Street, developed by PCP Herd Square, has the first 2 floors sheetrocked and heading into the 3rd. The roof is almost complete as well as the brick facade. PCP placed beautiful decorative lampposts on their site that helps to light the sidewalk as well as the incoming retail locations. Modera, located directly across the street from Town Hall, has been moving at warp speed. Site work, remediation, and foundation work are taking place simultaneously in order to get the site up and running as quickly as possible. The developer has paved a new well-lit walking path around the site through the park for improved access from the train to the crosswalk in front of Berkeley College. For Mellonwood Bridge, the project being built at the Old Hess property on Upper Main Street continues with site work and foundations. The new project will be a mixed-use, multi-family development with resort-like amenities and well-thought-out spaces, providing functional yet luxurious living here in Woodbridge. The striking Fist property on Main Street, Middlesex Hotel, has been designed to and will revitalize the corner property to provide an attractive entrance to the downtown. They discussed the possibility of a green wall and other upgrades to better showcase the township. Brook Street Lofts is being constructed on the old Stern Tower site. Site work is near completion as well as the foundation work. The new modern building will provide a beautiful addition to the area. And finally, the township is looking at the construction of 2 parking decks in the downtown area. The decks will provide necessary parking for the enhanced downtown area. I wanted to thank all of our residents for their patience and understanding while these construction sites are being done. Also, a special thank you to our police officers for patrolling these areas, keeping our residents out of harm's way, and providing vehicular traffic safety. In addition, I've just been informed by administration that there will be brand new improvements at the intersection of Broadway Avenue and Green Street coming soon. I'll keep everyone posted on that progress. That's all I have, Council President.
Thank you. Councilman Anderson.
Thank you, Council President. I'm going to hold on number 1. I'll move to job banks. We're still looking for substitute teachers. There are schools that are still in session, but we do need substitute teachers. If you go to our township website for the Employment Opportunity Center, you can find the link to our teacher search engine. FedEx, Provident Bank, Chicken Galore, RSI Bank, Chick-fil-A, and Dave & Buster's are all presently hiring. There are a number of other businesses that are hiring, so please check our Employment Opportunity Center on a township website. I'm going to hold on Mayor's Trophy, Hall of Fame, Taste of Woodbridge, our charity raffle, and our drive-in. I will mention that the NAACP, as we have our local president here, Donna Stewart, Reverend Donna Stewart, will be holding their next meeting on January 25th, 7 p.m., and it'll be virtual. So is there a website that they can go to, or?
NAACP.org.
I'm sorry? NAACP.org, and you can find all of the link information for that, and there's usually some guest speakers, and it's always very informative, so I'm glad that she's always here to provide that information for me. Yesterday, we celebrated Dr. Martin Luther King, and I want to thank TV 35, in particular also Mr. Haggerty, for putting that virtual program together. As we know, dealing with COVID, it's unfortunate that certain celebrations are not going to be we're not going to be together. Holding hands and singing "We Shall Overcome" is always a very important time. Hopefully, we can do that next year as COVID releases. I do want to remind you that still we live in a time where states like Alabama and Mississippi make Dr. King's celebration is in coordination with the celebration of Robert E. Lee. So there are still states in this union that they're going to acknowledge him, but they're going to make him share it with the Confederate general. But I thought that the program was really well received. We were able to share it online, and all the speakers I thought really brought some really unique information, and it was just a nice way. And the virtual background was phenomenal. It really looked very, very professional. So I was proud of that, and look forward to holding some new events in the future. Going to hold on the Independent Club of Colonia and tooling around the town, but I did want to give some information on, I know that everybody kind of posted this, but the Girl Scout cookies are for sale right now. And so at the Evergreen Center, every other week from January 16th to 30th, February 13th, the 27th, and March 13th from 9 a.m. to 3 p.m. The Hickory Center on January 30th from 9 a.m. to 1 p.m. 5 branches on this, February 13th from 9 a.m. to 1 p.m. The Sycamore Center from February 27th and March 13th from 11 a.m. to 1 p.m. and 9 a.m. to 1 p.m. And the Cypress Center, January 17th, 31st, February 14th, March 14th. They'll be at the Cypress Center and the Woodbridge Community Center the 17th, 31st of January, and which, you know, we've already passed the 17th, but 31st, the 14th of February, 28th of February, and March 14th from 9 a.m. to 3 p.m. Come out and support our Girl Scouts. They're always good cookies, and my favorite are the shortbread cookies. And you know, it's always nice to see the girls out there. They've got a really thriving business. And that's all I have. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Councilman Ficarra?
Thank you, Council President. Council Anderson, you forgot the footnote that for every cookie you eat, it's 5 push-ups or 5 sit-ups.
That's true.
First, starting with the Woodbridge Community Center and the club at Woodbridge. This Saturday, there's Try an Ice Hockey program for free at the Community Center from 1:45 to 3 o'clock. You do have to call over to the Community Center, 732-596-4102, or they do have the Woodbridge Community Center, WCC Hockey at township.woodbridge.nj.us. Maybe our TV 35 can post that. This is a free event open to everyone. It is followed by a more detailed event that's sponsored by the New Jersey Devils, Learn to Play. This is an event that has a price to it. There's 8 sessions. And for more information, again, you can check in at our community center. Another nice event coming up is Heart, Throb, Zumbathon. This is at the Woodbridge Community Center. It's on February 13th, very nicely done before Valentine's Day, from 9 a.m. to 11. It is free of charge, but the purpose of it is to bring in some non-perishable food items for our food bank. I have a heart food drive that's going on right now. And again, that's February 13th from 9 to 11. You can also call the community center at that. And both of our community center and the club at Woodbridge, during the month of January, they're waiving the joiner fees, which is a nice opportunity for people that want to take advantage and join these facilities. The websites do it all. For the community center, it's njwcc.com. For the club, it's theclub.org, and that could give you all that information much better than I can. I have 2 items that I want to bring up that are new on my agenda. First, number 12 is the mental health and wellness initiatives that the town is bringing up. I'm happy to report that we are forming a relationship with an organization called Specialized Case Management and Outreach Services. This is in support of Middlesex County. This organization has access to a variety of services that citizens can use, services in particular in the area of mental health and also in the area of fighting homelessness. It's homelessness intervention. We're also working through them on a training session for our police officers on a variety of ways that they may have to interact with people with mental health issues. First of which is to determine which is an absolute emergency, or what the medical people may call acute, or if it's non-acute and it needs to be followed up with, but not immediately. There will be a very, as I said, significant training session that we're working on now, along with working with what they call the SCOMOS group, which is what I told you. When SCOMOS is not in session, when this group is not in session, which is Monday through Friday, traditional business hours, our recovery coaches, which are in another department, they work 24/7. So if an issue comes into the PD, our recovery coaches will initially take the information from the police department and pass it on to the specialized case management folks. So there's no gap, there's no downtime, whether it's in the evening or whether it's on the weekend. It doesn't matter. If it happens during business hours, once the police are dispatched to the scene, the dispatch will also contact our new affiliates in the county. This is a project that we're working on. It's moving very smoothly and it's moving correctly. Again, this is in support of the police. This is not in lieu of the police. This is just to support the great efforts that they're doing. Now I'd like to take a moment, and I don't normally do this, but so I don't mess anything up, I wanted to give you an update on the COVID-19, in particular the vaccine and the way it's working in Woodbridge Township. So please forgive me for reading this, but I think it's important. Important information including how to pre-register for the COVID-19 vaccine via the New Jersey Department of Health COVID-19 vaccine portal. We all have to do that. It has the COVID-19 guidelines, and you can access it through our Township Works website. The Township is giving vaccines to people at the Woodbridge Health Center, and the original delivery of 1,000 doses will be exhausted by tomorrow. So that means by tomorrow, we have distributed 1,000 doses. The Health Department expects another delivery of 300 more doses later on this week, and also the 500 original people who got their first dose between December 28th and 29th will get their second dose as we move into February. It is important to note, and this is the area I don't want people to be confused on, the Township is not responsible for scheduling people in Category 1B, which is where we're at now. The State Health Department does that. But the category, for your information, includes people over 65 and people that are 16 to 64 that have specific medical conditions are next on the list. But again, when you say next on the list, it's all related to the doses that we get as a town. The Township Department of Senior Services can help senior citizens register for the vaccine. I have witnessed this myself. In the last few days, we've had 2 people that have reached out to me. I'm sure you guys have. If you refer them to the Senior Services, they will guide them along, and they will even go on the computer with them and guide them through, because no matter who you are, senior citizen like me or anyone else, you got to get on that portal and register. For your information, again, the hotline for this assistance is 732-726-6274. As of now, the Senior Center representatives have contacted just about everyone that have called and left a message, and will continue to do that. Special thanks. I personally want to thank the senior coordinators. We have Liz and Liz, Rosemary, Sandra, and their supervisor, Cynthia, for doing a great job so far. Please again remember that the senior center coordinators nor the health department representatives can offer any advice on whether you should get the vaccine or not get the vaccine. Our website for the township is twp.woodbridge.nj.us, or you can just Google Woodbridge Township. I'd like to close with 2 things. Number 1, please do not just show up at the health department. They don't control those things. They're very busy there distributing what we have. Please go to our website, register on the portal, and we can assist you. And the final thing is rather obvious. Please be patient. Everybody is working at warp speed right now, and they're doing the best they can. But we all need to put our patience hat on and just work with the system as it goes. But I'm sorry for being so long. I just thought it was important. I read that the way it was written. Thank you.
Thank you. Very important to get that out to our residents, and they are doing a fantastic job down there. Thank you. Councilman Patel.
Thank you, Council President. My agenda is already in order, but I'd like to congratulate all those ladies sitting out there and those sitting on benches here tonight, because tomorrow is going to be the inauguration of our President and the Vice President of the United States of America. President-elect Joe Biden is set to become the oldest president in the U.S. history. And the historical significance of Vice President-elect Kamala Harris is being the first woman and the first Black American to identify as Black and as South Asian American in the role of Vice President. Since her mother came from India, in almost every major cities, they are holding celebrations. Again, I would like to congratulate all women on this very special day. Also next week, on January 26th, India will have its 72nd Republic Day. In this area, every year, there are many places they hold Republic Day celebrations. But there won't be any celebration this year due to this ongoing pandemic. I wish all those Indian Americans a happy Republic Day. Also last week, on January 12th, worldwide, there were 159 birthday celebrations of Sri Swami Vivekananda were held, who introduced the Hindu religion to Americans during the Parliament of World Religions held in Chicago in September of 1893. I would like to thank our Mayor McCartney for sending his very inspirational message and his greetings to the Indian colony. That's all for tonight. Thank you, Council President.
Thank you. Mr. Mitch.
Thank you, Mr. President. My agenda is in order.
Business Administrator Simaluka.
Thank you, Council President. Under administration, we have a county tax appeal. Under the police, we have a traffic ordinance amendment. And under Public Works, we have a release of performance bonds. We have 3 of them, 5 Paddock Street, Avenel, 28 Juliet Street, Hope Lawn, and 92 2nd Street, Woodbridge. Thank you, Council President.
Thank you. Legal?
Nothing received today.
Thank you. A motion to adjourn?
Motion?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.